So at what point what was the turning point there?
So, well, I struggled for 17 years with my weight. Who I need to be,
coming from the heart. Welcome back to MOMnation from the Heart. And now a word from our sponsor. Hey y'all, Katie here, founder of MOMnation and owner and operator of Team EvoAZ at eXp Realty, your go-to gal for anything real estate in the state of Arizona. I am the sponsor of today's show. I will link my page and information in the show notes so you can quickly and easily get in touch with me should you need anything real estate, any advice, or maybe you're looking to get into the business. I sure hope you enjoy today's show. Thanks for listening. Hey, MOMnation, we are back with another episode of From the Heart, where we share inspirational stories, useful information, and we discuss a wide variety of women-related topics. I'm Katie, the founder of MOMnation, and I would like to extend a very warm welcome to our beautiful, lovely co-host and co-founder, Sherry. Hey, hey.
Hey, how's it going?
Today? Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm working from home today, and I have a friend with me, so life is good. How was your weekend? Mother's Day?
Yeah, it was awesome. I had an awesome Mother's Day. I didn't do much, which was the plan. Had brunch made for me, which, all right, let's face it, it's me. It always happens.
I was going to say, Matt's a pretty amazing chef, so.
True that. So we did a little brunch, went on the boat, did a little dinner out at one of my favorite restaurants. How about you?
Love that. I was also served breakfast in bed by my middle child. So she definitely knows the way to my heart. Coffee and all, like wake up and she's hovering over me with eggs and coffee, and it was great. And she's very creative in all different ways. So she made me a painting and a poem and sang me a song. It was really sweet.
What a sweetheart. She's such a doll.
And then Rory was really upset. She goes, I wanted to do something for you. So she runs out in the pantry and gets a banana and graham crackers and brings it to me.
Breakfast in bed, Mom.
Yes. And then we went to the pool and we had dinner. So it was really good.
Nice. Glad to hear it. And Sara, welcome, Sara, our guest for today. Sara Pitcher with Warrior Coaching. How about you? How was your Mama's Day?
It was actually great. We I celebrated early with my mom, and then my fiance and I spent time with his family. And his youngest daughter actually sent me the sweetest text. She just said, Happy Mother's Day. You know, I appreciate everything that you've done for Jordan, who's her sister, and my dad and me. And, you know, I just wanted to tell you that this day. So it was really, really special. So, yeah.
Oh, that's sweet, especially when they're teenagers and they whip out something sweet like that. It's like double.
Yeah. And you're the stepchild, stepmom. Like,
yeah,
it's always a hard thing to do. So.
Oh, well, we've got to do, actually, Sherry and I have been talking about this. We've been meaning to do a future episode on stepchildren and bringing together families and kind of how that all works. We both have experience with that in sort of different areas. And so maybe you'll be our guest, Sara. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm on the second set. So right now.
Let's do it. Awesome. Well, that is not what we are here to talk about today. Sara, thank you again for being on with us today, and a pre-thank you for what we are going to talk about and just really your strength in that, because I know it can be a difficult topic. And today we're going to talk about weight. Sara has struggled with her weight. You tell us. I'm not going to tell your story for you, but has it been throughout your entire life, or kind of take us back to the beginnings of the struggle?
Yeah, so it hasn't been my entire life, actually. I grew up in a healthy household. My mom, was very healthy. I did a lot of sports in high school. I did cheerleading. They always told me that I could eat anything, and it wasn't, it didn't affect me. I didn't have the best health in high school, but I really could eat anything and stayed healthy. I think it's, as we get older, we look back and learn that we were so active in high school, even though we don't realize we were active, that we were walking the halls and we were doing things and we were out and we were always, mean, we were participating in all these different things that it was just, I could eat everything I wanted and people would say, oh, it's going to catch up with you. It's going to catch up with you. And it actually never did catch up with me. But I picked up a really horrible, crappy habit of smoking cigarettes. And so I wanted to really get away from that, but I was really scared because everybody said, oh, I gained a lot of weight. I gained a lot of weight when I quit smoking because I could taste food and I could do things. So in 2000, I actually decided that I wanted to quit smoking. And so I did quit smoking. I actually was living with someone that was a chef. And so cooked amazing things. And I started eating more and eating out. And I gained about 50 pounds within probably 5 or 6 months.
Wow.
So that's truly when my weight started becoming an issue, and it never had been an issue. So I really didn't know how to deal with it.
And so bring in the emotions of that time. Was there anything else going on in life that maybe contributed to that? Or was it simply, hey, I can taste food and this person makes really great food and I'm just going to indulge?
There wasn't really any emotions. I mean, I was born in Flagstaff, Arizona. I had moved down to Phoenix, Arizona, the day after I graduated because I wanted to be out of a small town. And, I had already been cooking my own food and stuff like that. But, I was in a good place in my life. I was doing some modeling and, had some great jobs and things like that. And so it wasn't, anything else besides really just kind of I guess I had stopped doing activities. I wasn't really working out. I wasn't really doing anything like that. And I wasn't going out and getting a lot of activity either. So I think that among eating, really good food and food that wasn't necessarily good for me, which I knew nothing about, I mean, that's not something they teach really in high school or school. Like they don't teach anything. And even if they do, it's kind of like the pyramid of foods and stuff, and that's not even relevant anymore. So it's just you kind of learn by trial and error, and I tried things and kept gaining and tried things and kept gaining.
So at what point was it what was the turning point there?
So well, I struggled for 17 years with my weight. And I gained 50 pounds, and then I started, trying to get healthy. And if you've ever tried to get healthy, there is a wealth of people that are experts that know everything, that know what to do and what'll work and what won't. And I would try different things, and it wouldn't ever work fully. So I would try, I would maybe lose a little bit, then I would stop, and then I would gain it all back, plus maybe a little bit more. And for a while, I stayed probably, in the 50-pound range, and I was okay. I didn't like myself, but I wasn't horrible. And then I just continued to maybe creep up every year, 10 pounds, 10 pounds, 10 pounds. I mean, I had tried, everything out there. You've heard of it. I probably had tried it. I did Jenny Craig for a while, but I'm a very, very picky eater. And so I probably had like 3 of the meals, like mac and cheese was my go-to. Mm-hmm. So when I stopped eating that food, I stopped losing the weight and I started gaining it all back because I had to eat something else, So I did that. I did Weight Watchers. I did, I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It was maple syrup, cayenne pepper, and lemon juice. And you actually like drink it. And then you had like a tea that you did shaking your head. Yes. Yeah. A lot of people haven't heard of it, but
it's the cabbage diet. Remember the cabbage soup diet? Like all the things. Yeah. I hear you.
Yep. Cottage cheese. Like I tried cottage cheese. I did like South Beach. And the thing is, it's so hard for people because one, we as women now with filters and social media and putting out there what we want versus what reality is, and having all of that, and then going to the store and looking at like, a cooking, book aisle, or, now we go online and research it, but you just don't know what to do. And you're kind of inundated. And then you just kind of, most of us shut down when we have too much information that we don't know what to do, or we'll try it for a little while and then it doesn't work. And so then we stop because it hasn't worked for us. We are kind of a society where we want to see fast results. We want to see things happen quickly. And so if we've done something for a week or two, it doesn't work, then, we kind of just kick it out and say, okay, well, I guess that one doesn't work for me.
So you're trying all of these really just kind of fad things. There must be some frustration developing. There must be some emotions coming to the table at this point.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I didn't like who I was. I really didn't like who I had become, who I looked at in the mirror. And so I really, looking back at pictures and things like that, I see some women that, can rock the overweight, journey, and like, they still dress up and they still do their hair and they're still like glammed out and they look fabulous, no matter what. That wasn't me. Like, for me, it was all about being comfortable. It was all about like, I didn't want to wear tight things and I didn't want to get up and I didn't want to work out and I didn't want to put makeup on and do my hair and everything like that, so it was a really big struggle. And I had tried, I ended up meeting my ex-husband, and I think I was at a pretty low place in my life when I met him. And he saw me for me, and that kind of gave me a little bit of motivation to kind of get healthy. And so I remember once we dated for 2 years, we got married, and I was going to it was kind of like a small personal training place, and they did like 4 people at a time, and you would do cardio and kind of weightlifting. And I remember it wasn't working as much as I wanted it to, and I wanted to be and feel pretty for my wedding. And so I went to the doctor and I was like, you've got to give me phentermine. Like, I've got to do it. Like, I just need something to kind of help boost my weight loss. Cause I don't want to look back at pictures and be like, I hate who I am,
Yeah. What was that again that you asked for?
Phentermine.
And what does that do?
So it's a diet drug. Yeah, it's a diet drug that's very widely out there. There's some places like local weight loss places that just kind of hand it out like candy.
It's an appetite suppressant and metabolism booster, but it's really hard on your heart.
You're only supposed to get it, like they're only supposed to prescribe it for 3 months at a time. And then you're supposed to like have 3 months out. But I actually convinced my doctor to let me do it for 6 months because like my wedding was coming up and I was like, I won't need it anymore after this. Like, just let me have it for 6 months. So, and I lost probably about 30 pounds on that. And I still, when I got married to my ex-husband, I was 48 pounds heavier than I am now. So,
wow. So the doctor allowed you to do this for 6 months.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Did you suffer any complications from that
No.
you're aware of?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I know that, I definitely didn't have an appetite. I probably, I didn't eat much. So I'm sure that didn't make me feel 100% great. I'm sure I lacked a lot of nutrients and things like that. But, it's very interesting. A lot of people, unfortunately, doctors don't really have answers. So they can just tell you like, hey, you're not in your BMI, you're unhealthy, like, get help. You need to lose weight.
And that's where they leave it.
Can we talk about the fact that Sara felt all of these things so strongly enough about it that she went to her doctor and basically begged for that? Like that's hard. That's a lot of people. That's not just you, right? Mm-hmm. And you want to fit into this healthy person that you no longer are, but also with social media and like the images of what beautiful is. So I think it's a culmination of all of those things. But you went to your doctor and essentially begged. And I think that that's an important piece to look at because you're not alone in that aspect, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Totally agree. So take me through sort of the mindset, the everyday, you know, being, you said at your highest point, you were 80 pounds heavier than you are right now?
No, so at my highest point, I weighed 210.6 pounds.
Okay.
So I was 83 pounds heavier
Than what you are now. So take me through that mindset. Like you had said, you know, you didn't want to get up and do your makeup. You didn't want to get up and dress cute. Take me through kind of the everyday feeling of somebody that's carrying a little bit more than they wish to carry.
Yeah. So, I mean, you typically wake up and you are exhausted. You don't feel great. You know, you might make a decision to have, you know, get up and have some good food. But then by the time lunch comes around, you probably have decided that it's not worth it, or you have reached for the quickest thing you can possibly get. For me, convenience was big. You know, I loved convenient things. I've never been a cook. I'm a baker. I love baking. It's just probably some of the problem too. But I've never been a cook. And so I didn't like cooking. So I liked convenience. So TV dinners, you know, fast food restaurants, all those things. And, you know, so that's what it would be. It's like, oh, okay, it's lunchtime. Let's run to the gas station. Let's run to, you know, fast food and get some food. And then you'd come home and then you would eat it. And then you'd be like, oh gosh, that sucks. You know, it's horrible. I shouldn't have eaten that. And you go through this thing in your mind, like, okay, well, I'll do better next time. Or sometimes you go to the mentality of, well, I screwed up today, so maybe we'll try again tomorrow. Or, you know, the one that I'll start again on Monday. Diet start on Monday, you know, so everybody always starts on Monday because that's the day that, you know, that you start a diet, you try to make it through the week. And that's kind of the mindset of it all. So, you know, I mean, some things I didn't even know is like an extra pound of weight on your body actually is 4 pounds of extra pressure on your knees.
Really?
And so when you're carrying 10 pounds of extra pounds on your body, you're putting 40 pounds of pressure on your knees. So, you know, and that's just 10 pounds. Most people that are struggling with weight are carrying more than 10 pounds around, you know. So it was just a constant battle. And no matter how many times somebody tells you you look good, until you feel that way, you'll never believe it. And so it's not always about a number on the scale, but it's about what makes you feel good. You know, I couldn't go to the stores and buy the cute clothes. I couldn't go put the swimsuits on that I wanted to, you know. Nothing fit. And it's like, it would look so cute on my friends. So I would go and then I would try it on and I would be, you know, just completely discouraged because it didn't look good or it didn't fit. And then I had to go to like the plus size, you know, and they don't make very cute clothes for plus size people, you know. So it was just kind of like you gave in and you wore the frumpy stuff and, you know, and that's what felt good. And that's what you decided to do every day was, you know, you get up, you put on what fits, look in the mirror, you go, this will do for today, but you don't feel good about yourself. So then you don't do your hair, you don't do your makeup, you know, and you just start to kind of sink deeper and deeper into it because you really are just focusing on your appearance and not focusing on anything else. And, you know, just how your body feels.
You mentioned a word that really resonates with me because I have struggled with this as well. But discouragement. So like you said, you're going to try all of these things. They're not working. You're discouraged by the clothes. There's nothing in your size that you like, or that makes you feel good. And then you also get into that vicious cycle of like, for me, I would wear like big baggy clothes, but then that makes you look even worse, essentially, you know? So even when I was going through those periods of like thinning down and stuff, I would still be in that mindset of I don't look and feel good and I'm not to that point. So I'd still be wearing baggy clothes and I don't know. So discouraging, I think, is a huge emotion attached to that. That helps keep you in that vicious cycle.
Absolutely.
Well, and so just to piggyback on that, Cher, like the whole time, every day, all I was hearing from Sara with that description is all day long, I'm beating myself up. I'm beating myself up for having something good. I'm beating myself up for having something bad. I'm beating myself up because I'm not there yet. I'm beating myself up because I screwed up today. I'm beating myself up because I feel like shit when I got up in the morning. Like, what is this doing to your mental health at this point?
Oh, it's making you go deeper and deeper. I mean, I went on antidepressants, I finally, I struggled for a year with it. I had horrible body aches, horrible pain. And, I struggled with it because I didn't want to be in that classification. And I, really thought that, if I sought help and I sought something that would help me through the medical doctors, that maybe God wasn't big enough. And so that really, I struggled with it for a long time. And finally, I just came to the terms that like, this is an avenue that is going to help me. And, I'm not saying that he's not big enough. I'm just saying he has created these people to make these things that help us. And, this may not be a forever thing, but right now, this is what I need. And they're telling me it's going to help my body pain. They're going to tell me it's helping my energy. It's going to help, me want to be motivated to go to the gym, to work out, to do these things. And so, I did. I got on it and I tried it and I was on it for a while.
So at this point, are you still doing the 6-month weight loss pill as well as? Okay.
So I got married. When you get married, you kind of get a little bit more comfortable because, you don't always have to
put on the market.
Yeah. You don't have to put your best foot forward. You don't have to, so, and then you guys, need to like go and you need to do things and you go out to eat all the time. And, and so you just start packing on the weight and packing on the weight. So, like I said, I was at my heaviest in 2017, which was 210.6 pounds. And I remember actually telling myself, as I crept up on the scale and I crept up, I remember saying, if I get over 200 pounds, like I'm just going to kill myself, because I literally could not imagine being over 200 pounds. Like that was my threshold. And I never really got there before, but I did. And I knew when I got to that point that something had to change, because that's not what I wanted, And so I ended up, one of my girlfriends lost 30 pounds. And, of course, we as women were always like, how'd you do it? What'd you do? Tell me the secrets. I've got to know, And so she told me, and I had just seen my doctor. My doctor was like, you're pretty much like pre-diabetic. Like you either need to lose weight or we're going to put you on, metformin and all those, like type 2 diabetes things. And I had kind of learned that type 2 diabetes for the most part is something that can be avoided if you take care of your body. And so I ended up talking to her, and she kind of led me to, her health coach. And I decided I'm going to give one last thing a try, and I'm going to try it. It's not going to work for me. It's, but whatever, like, at least I can say that I really did everything out there,
Everything. Yeah.
And so, I did it. And, the thing that was so different was it wasn't just about the weight loss. I really was looking at my mindset.
Yeah.
I really figured out that I'm an emotional eater, and my emotions are very much fed by the things I eat. And like I said, I don't like cooking and I like baking. So, I used to always say, like, give me a pill for the food and I'm fine, but don't take away like my cake and my ice cream or my candy. I'm not a chocolate girl. I've never wanted chocolate for like Valentine's Day or anything. I'm like, just bring me a cake, not with whipped icing, but with buttercream. Like I need the buttercream. I need like the sweet, sweet, sweet stuff, And so it really looked at why I did the things I did and my habit loops. And, you know, really looking at what kind of triggers me and my cues, and then what I do. And then, you know, and just looking at the cycle of sugar and what it does to your body and how you just start to crave it. And, you know, it becomes an addiction, you know, but it's a legal addiction, and it's an addiction that nobody talks about, you know, and there's not really any harm to anybody else. So, you know, it's kind of okay. And it's kind of all over. I mean, it's everywhere, you know, like alcohol's sort of, you know, at least people check IDs and things like that for alcohol, but for sugar, like you can have sugar from the day you come out of the womb to, you know, the day you go in the ground.
It's in everything.
You know, and so it's just out there. And until you really realize and you look at the things that are going on and why you're doing the things you're doing, you can change any food you put in your body. But if you're not going to change the mindset that got you there and keeps you there, then you're not going to change it. You know, you can change the diet, but you can't change the thoughts.
Right.
And that's why the whole yo-yo, I mean, I was a professional yo-yo dieter, you know, because I had never looked at anything else. It was like food in, food out. Okay, good. You know, and so
that's why fad diets, or even like the surgery aspects, those don't work because they're missing the other piece of it.
Yeah.
It's a lifestyle. Like, I know that sounds so cliche, lifestyle change versus like a diet, but that's really what it's about.
Yeah.
Changing our habits, changing our mindset, changing our behaviors, because I mean, statistics show by the age of 6, those eating habits that you've developed, which as a mom, that's something that I know now, but as a kid, I didn't know.
Right.
Like the eating habits that I've developed by age 6 are what I'm going to move forward into life with. And now I'm going to have to break whatever bad habits I've developed. And think about it. If you if breaking a habit takes at minimum 21 days, if I've been doing this for 30 some odd years of my life, can you imagine how hard it's going to be to break that later on in life?
Absolutely. And now there's even more science and study that it's not 21 days. It's actually 66 days.
66?
Thanks for ruining my life, Sarah. I'm just kidding.
So
Sherry's on day 20 right now. She's like, damn it.
Oh, you just set me back.
21 days starts the initial, but to make it where your brain doesn't think about it at all and it becomes second nature, it takes 66 days. So we make thousands of decisions daily, and we don't even think about it, you know, but in order to get that change in your brain, it takes longer than 21 days. So then people are like, I did it for 21 days and it didn't work. It didn't happen. What happened? Well, that's why, because we changed the initial behavior, but we didn't change the brain behind it. So that's why we kind of have to continue doing it. So
I had an aha moment. Thanks, Sarah.
Totally. Take me back, Sarah, to, you said I am, or I was, or I'm not sure exactly which word you used there, but I'm an emotional eater. Can you explain what that means and maybe give a couple of examples?
So emotions, right? Whether they're good or bad, I want to celebrate with food. And it's society in general. Okay. We're celebrating a birthday. What do? Cake, ice cream, people, food. We're going to a party. What do we have? Food,
hors d'oeuvres,
cake. Yes. You know, so it all focuses around that. And I am an emotional eater. I still am an emotional eater, and I contend every single day for it. But I have learned my triggers, and I've learned how to kind of let those triggers go away, or say those triggers and speak those triggers, and then do the things that I need to do to let that kind of subside. You know, another part is that there's a lot of accountability and a lot of community with this program and with just this community. And so I had a health coach, and I had somebody that I could talk to. And we as humans, I mean, Katie, if you and I decide, hey, let's go to the gym together, we're probably 99% going to be there because I'm counting on you and you're counting on me.
Right.
Okay. So if I decide tomorrow I'm going to go to the gym and say I had a really late night, I didn't sleep very well, I wake up kind of tired, we can talk ourselves out pretty easily. Well, I'll go tomorrow. I'll go next week. I'll go later. Like, I've learned that if my butt doesn't get up, put my clothes on and get to the gym, I won't go. It doesn't matter how many times I say I've got an opening in the afternoon or I'll go in the evening. No. First thing, like, I literally have to lay my clothes out, go to the bathroom, put them on half asleep, and then get in the car in order for me to like do it. There's no like getting into my day and then going. That's just how I'm wired. But it really, it's just about creating different things and different mindsets and being able to surround yourself with a community of people that you can talk to about that. And, that you can call, like when you're stressed out or when you're emotional. I would say my struggle still that I contend with is the bad emotions. So I'm pretty good with the good emotions. Like, I don't feel like I have to have cake when I go somewhere. I may choose to, but I make it more about the event or the party or the person, and I've learned how to empower myself too, and just say, hey, I really appreciate you inviting me here. That's not something that, will serve my body well, but I love that I'm here with you and celebrating you.
That's interesting to me, because without the piece that you did differently when you decided enough was enough, I'm assuming, is that you had a coach that was kind of cheering you on, kind of helping you through this stuff. You may not have learned that tool just on your own.
Right. Because there were days that I wanted to throw the towel in.
Yeah, I'm sure.
We need people and we need a community that are going to come and pick us back up and be like, okay, come on, not today, we're going to do this, or you're worth it, and I have learned so much, and we're never done learning. We're never done growing. We're never done with this journey, but what I've learned is that what I do in the morning really sets my day up for success.
Yeah.
I've learned that affirmations are not stupid. They're not dumb. The more affirmations that I can say to myself in the mirror, that I can speak out loud, the more that I'll start to believe it. So, I do things in the morning and I change it up, but I'll do reading in the morning. I do, kind of a personal development book, or I'll do a podcast when I'm getting ready. I've got things on my mirrors and affirmations on my mirrors that, I change out kind of depending on the season, whether it's my business that I'm trying to grow or my personal development that I'm trying to grow, or a little bit of both, because we are our own worst critic, and having other people really speak life into us and say what they see and then getting us to believe it. One was probably my greatest blessing to have that. And now it's my greatest blessing to be that to somebody else, and to be able to say, I see you as this person, and I'm going to believe it until you see it yourself, and I'm going to cheer you on until you see yourself. And it's very interesting because we think, oh, we don't need somebody to tell us that great job, because maybe that's for kids. We need our kids to hear that, but we don't need to hear that as an adult. But I'll tell you what, the first time your husband or your best friend or your coach or somebody looks at you and says, hey, I'm so proud of you. Like, you freaking rocked this week. You're like, oh my gosh, where has this been my whole life? Like, I need somebody that's going to speak truth into me, And so I think that, most of the diets out there are missing all these components. They're missing the fact that the brain needs to be switched and trained and thought differently about the whole situation, that you need people that are going to be around you. You need a coach that's going to support you and, build you up and call the greatness out of you. So, it's definitely different. And that's why I love what I do.
And that's awesome that you have the opportunity to pay it forward. I love that you sort of went down that path, and because you come from it. So like, who better to help you through something than somebody who's been through it and been through it successfully themselves, right? Like there really is no better coach. There's no better teacher. So let me take you back to before the wonderful thing came into your life and that wonderful person shared that with you. You said you were kind of at the lowest point, which makes a lot of sense. You were feeling frustrated. It was really affecting your mental health just because of the day in and day out. Hey, I'm just not doing what I need to be doing on a consistent level. How was that then affecting relationships around you, like with your family and with your friends and things like that?
Yeah. So I think it truly let me get into a really unhealthy, toxic marriage. Because I kind of was somebody that this person could leech onto and that could saw kind of that I needed somebody to speak into me and to be there for me. And so they were able to do that at first. And then once we got married, everything switched and changed. And it was not only that was my weight was my highest and I was at my lowest. It was also my marriage. My marriage was hell. And I was able to deal with it and kind of get through it because I thought that's what I was supposed to do. And, it's almost like you're in a hamster wheel and you're just kind of living the same day over and over, or Groundhog Day, if you've ever seen that movie, like you wake up and it's the same freaking day over and over, and you have no purpose and you have no passion and you have, nothing anymore. And so me actually getting my health back allowed me to see that I was worth more than what I was in. And it allowed me to be able to get out of a toxic marriage. And the personal development and the strength that I developed during kind of getting my mind right and changing my mindset allowed me to actually go through a horrible domestic violence situation that allowed me to come out as a warrior. And that's a whole another topic that we'll have to talk about another time. But
yes,
it was me choosing to get healthy and me choosing that I was worth it to be able to walk away from something that I knew wasn't worth me.
Yeah.
And so I think hearing your story, I've heard some of it before in different pieces, but it's just something keeps coming back to me because of my own personal experiences with toxic relationships and weight. Is that like the emotion? I'm an emotional eater as well. So when you were talking about that, I can 100% relate. But it's interesting the fact of our worth and our value and how much it's tied to not only the eating aspect and our weight, but also the relationship status or, whatever that picture looks like for us. Because my weight loss journey started when basically I was at the lowest point of my relationship also. And so I think that was a motivator for me to like jumpstart it. But for me, I know that I lose myself when it comes to like relationships or even just being a mom. We tend to focus on everybody else. Mm-hmm. And so for my own personal health and like eating, like that goes to the wind. I'm not eating healthy if I'm worried about feeding everybody else, or don't eat all day because I'm working and then bam, I'm making pasta for the kids, or, something kid friendly that's not great to be eating at nighttime when I haven't eaten all day and my metabolism's way down here, not doing anything. But I don't know. The correlation, and I'm sure there's so many studies out there, but just the correlation with self-worth and value. And it all comes back to mindset though, too, and changing that mindset and being able to overcome obstacles and maybe things that we've predisposed ourselves to thinking, but it's what I like about working with trainers or coaches like you is that you can see a real person who maybe started where you were or where you are today and how they've changed and grown. So it's attainable, but hearing that, this is something you put into play every day. It's not easy now. It's just, you've learned how to go through a process and stick to it and be committed.
Right. Yeah.
And I think that that's important. People just think it's easy for certain people. Some people might have that metabolism where it's easy, but not
Right.
majority of people. And so when it comes down to it, it's really important to remember that, hey, it's not about being easy. It's about being consistent.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely, and having that person that you kind of answer to, or that is kind of cheering you on, just helps you. There's something about that that's like, hey, I'm not alone. Like, someone else sees me, someone else hears my story and knows that I can do this too, you know? And so it's definitely worth it, and by no means did I ever think I would be somebody that would be doing this full time, that would be helping other people, you know. It literally fell in my lap. And, when I started getting healthy, somebody said, oh, well, this is going to be the best way to keep you accountable, is to help others get healthy. And I was like, okay, well, I'll go ahead and help a few, like, if they ask me, I'll talk to them, but I'm not going to share. I'm not going to, tell people what I'm doing. Like, people will notice, but, never did I think that my biggest blessing would be sharing what I've learned and helping others break free and find the freedom, because there's nothing like feeling horrible about yourself and trying and trying and trying to find freedom and to love yourself again, and to try all these things and try all these things and try all these things and not go anywhere. And then you just beat yourself down more and more, because you're like, well, I'm worthless. Well, this worked for her. This worked for her. This worked for her, I guess, And so I got to the point where I really was like hopeless, and like I said, I was like, I don't think this is going to work. I don't know, why I'm even trying this, but I'll try it one more time. And I think, what I've kind of told people that I've talked to, a lot of people that I speak to have the same journey. They've done everything. They've tried everything. They've done the yo-yos. But, I always say, just don't give up on yourself and try one more thing. You've got to find what works for you. I found what worked for me. And it's worked for a lot of people. And I have helped thousands of people, but it may not work for everybody. And, there's all these different things. Ketos work for some people. South beaches work for some people, but it doesn't work for everybody, and you have to figure out what works with your lifestyle. You have to figure out what works with you and what you can do, and just don't give up. You're worth trying something else. And I think for me, at that point, when I tried it, I wasn't really doing it to get healthy and to get out of my weight. Like, I wanted kids. I wanted a good marriage. I wanted to be around for my future kids. And so that was kind of my why. Well, when I realized that this marriage wasn't going anywhere, that I shouldn't stay in this marriage, I struggled with why I wanted to be healthy when I got out of that marriage. I had to really reevaluate myself, because I didn't have a strong desire anymore. It was like, okay, I'm single again. I look good. I've lost the weight, but why do I need to stay here? What if I eat that? And so my old patterns and my old habits started to come back. And so I had to, again, really reevaluate my mindset and really look at, why do I want this, and search deep down inside, because before it was, I'd say, more for my ex-husband and my future kids. And then when that's torn away from you and you don't have that, then you're like, okay, well, why now? What's the point of doing it now? And so, I think you are constantly evolving and constantly reevaluating yourself and life and what you can do next to grow. And the other thing that's so hard is that we compare ourselves to everybody. It's so easy to compare ourselves up and compare ourselves down. So we can look at somebody and be like, God, our life is so much better than that person. Thank God, or we can look at somebody else and be like, gosh, if I could only have that, But the thing is, like, the best thing is there's a saying that I have over here, and it says, like, stay in your lane because there's no traffic there, and I love it because literally I just ask myself, like, every single day, if I don't show up today, whose life could not be transformed? Whose life could not be changed? And I literally have to ask myself, why do I do the things I do? And why do I want to do this? So it's really just kind of staying in your lane and really trying to be better than you were yesterday. Like, if you try to be 1% better than you were yesterday, by the end of the year, you're going to be 360, 5 days better than you were, percent better. So, I think we see this or this, and we don't see the behind the scenes. We just see that they got here and we want to get here, but we don't know the climb and the tears and the sweat and the blood and everything that happened for them to get there. So we're literally comparing ourselves here and saying, well, I want to be there right now. But then we may learn, like, this is what happened and this is what they did. And then we're like, well, I don't want to do all that, but I want this, but I don't want to do all that, So it's just, it's literally just kind of figuring out what works for you, what's best for you, and, what you're willing to do. And, nothing good happens in your comfort zone at all.
True.
It's definitely something where you have to stretch yourself and you have to grow and you have to be willing to say yes to things last minute. Like when someone says, hey, you want to jump on tomorrow at 12 o'clock? And you're like, sure, why not? So, yeah, I just think it's always about just becoming more and a better version of ourselves.
I love that. And for my last question, you actually answered a bit of it during that last piece, because I think that it's important that we're transparent here. When you decided enough was enough, like when that moment happened, when that person came into your life, when you were like, hey, I'm never going back, I'm traveling down this road. It wasn't easy, was it?
It wasn't.
So just a few examples of like, what kinds of things did you have to overcome? And, did you experience setbacks? Is that normal? How would one prepare for such a journey?
Yeah. So it definitely is normal. I think for myself, I really had to commit to the other person. I had to commit that I was going to do it, whether I felt like it or not, that I was worth it, and that no matter what I was going to do, like I always say, give me 30 days. That's all I'm asking for. And that's kind of what my coach had said to me. And so I had committed to 30 days. We can do anything for 30 days or 21 days or, and so I had committed to that. So I knew that, okay, I'm going to make these choices because that was my commitment, and I started feeling better because of the food that I was putting in my body, because of how my body was feeling. And because I started feeling better, I was able to learn and be a little bit more clear-headed to understand, like, what is a habit loop? How do I change that? How can I make better decisions to be able to, reach out to somebody? I mean, in all the different addictions, whether it's sugar or alcohol or drugs or whatever, you're kind of to the point where when you have those urges or those habits, reaching out to somebody is the first step in anything, and letting someone kind of speak into you. So the fact that people that struggle with emotional eating or with food or anything, the fact that a lot of programs don't have a coach, or, a lot of times they call them sponsors and other programs, was just a concept that, they decided, hey, people need support, people need help. And, I had setbacks. I was fully committed. And so I remember I didn't cheat. So I started the beginning of September, and I did not cheat off of what I was supposed to follow till Thanksgiving. And that was kind of my goal. And I remember,
so you got through Halloween.
I got through Halloween. I got through my ex-father-in-law's birthday where they had cake and ice cream. Like, that's my jam, like, but I literally went and I got like a sugar-free piece of chocolate, like a peanut butter chocolate cup. And I was like, this is my treat, And so I was able to, and I remember eating like all the things that I was so used to eating for Thanksgiving. And I was like, oh my gosh, this tastes like crap. Like, it wasn't even, my body had become so like used to having good food and food that actually fueled it and did the things that food is supposed to do. Like, food is not supposed to be an emotional thing. Food is not supposed to like treat us like we're not a dog, like we shouldn't use food as a treat,
right?
Like, food is something that we need as humans to make our body work. And when you're eating Jenny Craig and you're eating the mac and cheese, you're not learning anything. You're not understanding anything. And so I learned so much through, like the habits of health and learning the different like macro habits that I really learned that, like it's a mindset, it's a way of thinking. And I've had setbacks. I mean, I've had a lot of setbacks. I mean, trust me, when my horrible domestic violence situation happened, those habits and those insecurities and all those things flood back in. And I did put some weight back on. But I had that person that was like, whoa, wait a minute. You're not doing this. Like, we're going to get back in structure. We're going to get back in making you feel good and giving your body what it needs so you can think level-headed and you can, fight this and you can be strong. So, it's really understanding, like, I think it comes and, we as parents don't really understand that even when we're little, like, we reward kids with food or we bribe them with food. Like, a lot of parents, when you're potty training, like, you give them some type of sugar or some type of food when they do good. It's not like, hey, we're going to go shopping. We're going to get a toy. It's like, here's an M&M, here's some candy here, or if they're, you hear a screaming kid at the grocery and you're not going to get that candy bar. You're not going to get that sucker if you don't behave, and that is ingrained in our head. And then if we don't realize that those are kind of our beliefs, like, if we do something good, we should have sugar. That's what we learn as we grow up. And so if we don't understand that, that's something that happens completely out of our even realizing it. Like, we graduate from college or we graduate from high school or, we do something good and we're like, okay, let's go have dessert. Let's go get ice cream. And for us to be able to stop and be like, whoa, and that's when those patterns come back. And it's really easy to have a great life when your life's going great. And it's really easy to make good decisions about everything when your life's going great. But when you have things that are stressful or that are painful or, that just knock you down off of, where you are, that's when everything comes up. And that's when you really have to like kind of dig your heels in and seek help, and I mean, I've been to counseling and I've done a lot of things. And I think every person should go to counseling, whether you have big issues or not. I think every marriage should go to counseling and do marriage weekends and seminars and things like that. I just think that growing in all aspects of our life with the people we love is what we need to do, and it's not always easy. We have feelings and we have feelings that tell us, I don't feel like it, and so I've learned that I literally have to put these rocks in my schedule, and it doesn't matter whether I feel like it or not. I have committed to doing it, and so I do it. Sometimes I don't feel like making food, so I've committed to doing it. I'll do it. Sometimes I don't feel like, I host a lot of events at my house, and the reason I love hosting events and I love hospitality, but I get in my head a lot. And if it was at other people's houses, I probably would talk myself out of it. But when it's at my house, like, people are coming. So like, I don't have it out, like, I love my party house, and I love that I get to have people, but, so you kind of have to get to know yourself, and you kind of have to break through your barriers and figure out how to do that, So I set myself up for success by scheduling things, with other people, and by making things happen where I know I can't get out. It's just, you learn your weak points, you learn your, things that you need help with, and then you figure out how to do that.
And this is why she's a coach, folks. That was amazing. So sorry to have to wrap it up, but we are getting toward the end of the show here. And I wanted to give you an opportunity to share if, if somebody out there, they hear this podcast, they're like, oh, me too. Like everything she's saying, I can totally relate with. Is your door open? Are you welcome? Do you welcome others, maybe even people that you might not know, to contact you to kind of talk through this, maybe talk through what they're struggling with and get your suggestions and things of that nature?
Absolutely. And, I have had people that have come to me, and, how I coach and what I coach is not necessarily a great fit for them. And, I love that. I love just getting to know people. I offer a complimentary health assessment where I just get to know you, you get to know me, you get to know the things that I offer. And if it sounds like something that will work and that's a great fit for both of us, awesome, but if it doesn't, then, that's great too. I have lifelong friends that, have done other things that have been successful, and, they started with me and didn't go, and that's fine. I love making connections with people. I love getting to know people more. And if I can help them, great. And if I can't, and I can refer them to somebody else, or I know something else, that's absolutely kind of where I am. So, I have a Facebook page, Warrior Coaching, with Sara. I have an Instagram account. You can reach out to Katie, and, she can get you my contact information.
Absolutely. And in fact, your page is on the show notes. So awesome. Anybody can go into the caption, go into the show notes and click on it to get to you.
Awesome. Well, yeah. There's never any pressure. There's never anything where, I try to sell you anything or make you do anything. I just, I love helping other people, and I love being able to just see other people succeed in something that they're struggling with, because somebody did that for me. And so I want to pay that forward for other people.
Absolutely. Awesome. Cher, anything to add before we go?
No, but I'm really glad that you were on today, Sara. I'm glad that you said yes yesterday, because I feel like I've learned so much more about you, and we definitely need to connect, because there were definitely some aha moments and also just relatable things. So I feel like I got to know you better today on this show.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And I love you ladies. And I'm excited to be back here for, podcast 2, when I can kind of share more of my story and, talk more about my journey and breakthroughs that I've had.
Absolutely. We definitely did not have enough time to get to all of it. I'm aware of a good portion, I think, of the story, and it's definitely something that needs to be shared, and something that I would love to host at a future date when we can do that. If you out there are interested in being a guest on the show, just like Sara, she said yes. She said yes to being on the show. If you would like to say yes to it, please follow us at MOMnation. Our handle is at MOMnation USA. Actually. And we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on Instagram. Give us a little like while you're there, shoot us a message and let us know why you think you'd be a great guest, or why you'd like to be a guest on the show. Right now, listening to losing all my words, listening to this show on your favorite podcast platform, please do us a favor, subscribe to us, download these episodes, and rate us, because that really helps us organically get this information out to the mama's ears that need to hear it. And we know that we talk about a lot of really deep, really hard stuff here, and it definitely needs to get out to as many ears as possible. Thank you again, Sara. And thank you to my lovely co-host, Jerry.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Have a great day, ladies.
Bye.